take trades before that 15-minute candle is formed, but it's got to be very, very clear setup for me to do that. And the reason I like waiting is because I like to wait for the market to calm down, to pick its direction, and for us to create our opening range. It usually offers some better confluence and better trade setups once we wait for that 15-minute candle. Typically, we'll see a lot of volatility at the start of the day in our first 15 minutes, a lot of up and down, a lot of, chop, kind of letting the market just pick the direction for the day, and then we react to it. We don't always, what we don't want to get caught up in doing is trying to predict the market too much to then where you force trades into the market that might not really be there. You're just getting caught up in that volatility. So what we like to do is wait for the volatility to die down just a little bit. Let the market tell us what to do. Don't try to tell the market what to do. That's a big thing that I think a lot of people don't really understand, is they try to tell the market what to do instead of waiting for the market to tell them what to do. So it's really just being patient, waiting for your setup, and then executing the setup when it's there. So looking at a 15, let's go down to a 5-minute. Let's see if we have a breaker on the 5-minute as well. Now it's kind of hard to tell because we have this long wick down, long wick up. Technically, yes, this would be a reversal pattern. It's hard though, I'm going to go back to the 15-minute, when you don't have a super clear level to chart out, because we don't have a very clear swing high to swing low here. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a breaker, but it does look like a reversal pattern here where we swept London high and now we're coming down and trading back around VWAP. Another thing that I want to look at is our VIX. Our VIX has opened up pretty bearish today. It's opened up bearish. So when we see the VIX opening bearish, we would expect NQ to be bullish. If we see the VIX opening up bullish, we would expect NQ to be bearish, right? We want to see the VIX doing the opposite of what NQ is doing. So it's always good to look at that as confluence. When we see the VIX heading down, well, then we might expect NQ to head up. So right now, really what we're looking at is just waiting for this opening range candle to be created and waiting to see which direction the market truly wants to go. Like I said before, seeing ES completely displace that bearish fair value gap there tells me that they're the stronger index over here and that they want to push us higher. Now we can look at a few other levels. We can see we're in a 1-hour SIBI here on ES that we'd still have to push through. We have a 1-hour order block up top, but it is looking pretty bullish at market open right now, traded down into a bullish fair value gap, and we're really pumping off that. So when I see ES doing that, typically I want to see NQ following suit. I want to see NQ pumping as well. So right now we can see NQ is kind of behind and ES is leading the way, but it's moving up pretty strong right now. Moving up pretty strong. So let's just continue to be patient. We'll wait for our setup. If our setup is there, we'll execute a trade. We'll get in, we'll get out, and we'll be good. All right, every day, that's all I'm looking to do. I'm looking for at least one A+ setup. And if it's not there, I don't take a trade. If it's there, I'm going to execute a trade. And again, I'm not trying to take 10, 15, 20 trades, guys. I'm trying to look for 1, 2, maybe 3 trades a day. That's typically what I'm looking at. All right, so right now we look pretty bullish. It looks like, ES is leading the way. We do have some SMT divergence up here where we see ES taking out that high. NQ still hasn't taken out that high, so we do see some divergence, but it looks like NQ wants to target that high. So we'll see here if we do. If NQ does target that high, then we won't have that divergence. That gives me some extra confirmation that the longs are going to try to step in. And like I said, guys, we're always looking to target an external liquidity draw. Our external liquidity draw on the buy side is yesterday's high. That's the one we'd be looking to take out. That's where we'd be looking to take out. If we look at a daily on ES's previous day high is all-time highs. So that means ES is going to target all-time highs. So that's something to keep in mind as well, because if we see ES continuing to pump, that means we might see NQ target all-time highs as well. And if that's the case, we could catch some, really nice long setups. All right, so let's see here. We have a few minutes, about 5 minutes until this opening range candle closes. About 4 minutes. We just took out that high, so no more SMT divergence up here. ES is already going to target those all-time highs, previous day high. We'll see if we're going to get that continuation. Yeah, we've gotten a strong break of structure to the upside. We can see we were making lower lows, and now we've pumped and we've taken out, making new highs. So it looks like these longs really, really want to step in here. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm going to rush and try to jump into a long just to do it, but I'm going to start looking for long setups pretty soon if we can get that continuation. One key level to think about is the 50% level of the 4-hour breaker. We're always looking at the equilibrium of our fair value gaps, of our breakers. That 50% level is something we want to look at, but ultimately we want to see price target yesterday's high. So now we'll be looking for setups that are looking to target that. Another thing we want to see is a strong displacement here on the 15. So I'd like to see this 15-minute candle with the body close above this high right here. And what does that tell me? That just tells me that we have strong displacement to the upside, that price wants to continue further and grab that next level of liquidity. But let's say we trade down back below, we fail to displace that high, and the body closes down here. Well, then we might expect price to come back down and try to target these lows before making another move. So displacement is one of the key things that I look at in my trading, because it does tell us a lot. It tells us, is this a continuation? Is this going to be a breakout, or is this going to be a fake out liquidity grab that's going to take us right back down? So I do want to see this body close above. If these longs are going to continue, again, we could still see the longs continue even if the body doesn't close, but that just doesn't give me as much confirmation. What do you think about the 1 minute fair value gap to the left? Let's look at the 1 minute time frame. So we're looking all the way over here. Okay, so pretty strong fair value gap to the left. I do see what you're talking about here, with a swing high above. So yes, definitely a strong gap right here, strong imbalance. Let's see. Let's zoom out real quick. All right, so we can see right here, we did trade into that fair value gap, and we're getting a strong bounce off that level. Strong bounce off that level. So notice how I said, guys, I wanted to see if this body would close above that high. Right now we're getting pretty strong pullback. So again, that's why we really wait, because a lot of people probably would have tried to trade that breakout right there. They probably would have tried to chase the longs after seeing a breakout, and they would have gotten stopped out pretty quick off of that. We can see how that's a crazy pullback on a 1 minute candle there. Look how bearish that 1 minute candle was. That's why we wait. This is exactly why I wait to take trades, at least for 15 minutes. Because I mean, when I saw that 15-minute candle going above the highs, I was really looking to start targeting the longs. But after seeing that pullback, I need to kind of take a step back now and kind of reevaluate and start looking to see, okay, are we going to target the sell side now because we have swept buy side liquidity? We've gotten a pullback and we did not displace the highs. We've bounced off a 1 minute fair value gap. We're bouncing off a 4-hour bearish breaker. So we have a few different things we're bouncing off of, and now we're looking very bearish. Again, we might see a lot of range today. We could see a lot of ranging, but that is a pretty strong move back down. Now I want to start looking short because of that pullback, because of that liquidity sweep. It's telling me a lot here. We can see on the 15-minute we just closed. Look at how that 15-minute just closed. Completely down. After looking very bullish, we swept buy side. We can see that's a true liquidity sweep up top, just grabbing liquidity on the buy side, and now we're coming down. So now I want to start looking for shorts here pretty soon. And where would we be targeting the shorts? Well, we'd be targeting Asia low. We'd be targeting this low down here. If we look at a daily time frame, we'd be targeting possibly previous day low if we're going to get this much pullback. We just have to be aware that we could really just range today, so we might not see a ton of external liquidity sweeps or runs on liquidity. We could just see a lot of range up and down. We could see seek and destroy conditions, which just tells us that we're going to be going up to the buy side, going down to the sell side, going up to the buy side, just sweeping liquidity every time. So I like to catch the expansion moves. I like to catch real moves. But sometimes we have to look at, trading the range as well. Okay, we're trading into a 1 minute bearish fair value gap right at VWAP. Let's see if we react off this one here. We still haven't displaced, technically, these lows on the 1 minute time frame. So I still want to see displacement of the lows before I really jump into anything. Just get that extra confirmation here because we have traded below our opening range. So if we trade below our opening range, I'm going to short it if we're seeing a strong displacement move and we're getting a strong continuation down. But I need to see displacement at least on the 1 minute here. It looks like we're trying to do that right now. We're getting strong bearish momentum here. Looks like we're going to get that displacement. This is when I start looking for shorts. So we displaced on the 1 minute. We bounced off a 1 minute bearish fair value gap. So those are just a few confirmations so far. The VIX is starting to look pretty bullish, which is another confirmation for us. And now that we see ES coming down and trying to sweep this low, that would be another confluence if we see ES come down and close below this low down here. We need to see ES get some displacement as well. So I am in no rush to jump into a trade right now. I want to see very clear direction. I want to see a very clear A+ setup. Right now we're not really breaking out. We're not getting a breakout on either side. We did get 1 minute displacement, but that's not enough for me to jump into a trade just yet. I'm going to need to see a little bit more than that. Okay, now we're trading right back up. So just a lot of ranging so far in our market. A lot of up and down. Displace that 1 minute. Just traded up into that 1 minute above. Technically a bearish breaker with the high, low, higher, high displacement of the low. So this would be our bearish breaker block, which we're already trading above right now. Right there. Looks like we're trying to trade right above it. So we're kind of all over the place on market open. Like we said, guys, we could expect a lot of ranging. So we just got to be aware of that. We got to wait for a real breakout move. I really don't want to trade this range right now. I want to wait for a breakout in a pullback, right? Displacement retracement, that idea. Looks like we're gonna displace that 1 minute bearish breaker there. No longer valid. Closed above, and now we're going right back up. So we traded below our opening range, and now we're heading back up to the top of our opening range. So far, no breakout, no clear A+ setup for me. We're sweeping liquidity on the buy side and the sell side. Looks like we may be setting up seek and destroy conditions here, waiting for Powell to speak, which we have a while until that happens. But a lot of the time when we have red folder news, we do see a lot of ranging and a lot of chop leading up to that. Let's look at some of our other time frames. Not a lot on the 4. Not a lot on the 3 minute. 2 minute imbalance that we're inside of right now. 2 minute BPR. And 1 minute bearish fair value gap that we're inside of as well. So, again, we're still trading above VWAP here. We still have some imbalances below. So, I'm still waiting. So, technically, it would be a unicorn on the 1 minute. But we did trade above that breaker block, and we closed above, which displaced that breaker. So, it wouldn't be a unicorn model. It would technically just be a 2022 model, which would be a displacement of the low, trading into a fair value gap, dropping. So it technically wouldn't be a unicorn, but we're still seeing a reaction off that 1 minute bearish fair value gap here. I would still need to wait for us to at least displace one of these, this 1 minute fair value gap here, or this 1 minute fair value gap here, and possibly even trade below this one. Okay, so we're getting a strong move back down now. Off a 2 minute fair value gap and a 1 minute fair value gap. Okay, so we displaced both of those 1 minute bullish fair value gaps. We're respecting our bearish ones. So now, again, I'm still waiting for, I at least need to see some kind of fair value gap entry on the 1 minute, the 2 minute, right? We see that we're bounced off that 2-minute fair value gap above, or what we'd want to wait for. And again, I'm okay with waiting for this, is for us to come back down and make a new low, which would just prove to us that we're making lower lows, lower highs, that we're keeping that 1-minute bearish structure. Again, with this ranging behavior right now, I need to see extra confirmation if I'm going to try to short near the bottom. If I'm going to try to short near the bottom, I need to see a lot of confirmation. Because so far, when we got to the bottom, we've bounced. When we got to the top, we've bounced. So we really got to see us close below again, or see some kind of confirmation that we're really bouncing if we trade into that fair value gap above. Let's say we trade up into this one. We need to see a lot of confirmation that we're bouncing from that level. If we displace the bottom right now, where is the next stop? What do you mean by the next stop? Because if we... So I don't really watch them while I'm trading, but I do keep my eye on them throughout the week. I do watch them throughout the week. But I don't have them pulled up while I'm trading, because really for me, all I really need to look at personally is ES, NQ, the VIX, and then sometimes YM. Those are going to tell me pretty much everything I need to see. And again, this is why we're waiting, guys. This is why we're waiting to get any entries. Do we see this ranging that we create a bearish for value gap? We displace the bullish ones, and then we trade right through, and now displace the bearish one. So it's just a lot of uncertainty right now in the market. The market is chopping. The market is ranging. Yep, exactly. When we have Powell speaking, it makes sense that we're gonna range for a little while. So you could just look up volatility S&P 500. You could just type in VIX on TradingView and it'll pull it up for you. And I typically like to look at the 15-30 minute time frame. Kind of gives me a clearer idea overall of what the VIX is doing. So still seeing that range. We're still inside of this 15-minute opening range right now. We did trade below, but we're not really doing too much right now. Again, I am completely okay if I need to wait and not take any trades within the next 30 minutes to an hour because we don't show anything clear, then I won't. Because look, guys, it's the start of the week. We're showing ranging behavior. We have a whole week ahead of us. What I would rather do is preserve capital for good trading opportunities than try to force trades in these bad opportunities, and then we ended up losing our capital instead of just holding on to it and looking for a great setup later on. And some people might not really understand that. Some people might think that you need to trade all the time, but that's not the case. So there's going to be days where you really want to stay clear of this market. I'm hoping, again, it's early into the day, so there's still going to be opportunity for us. I'm not saying I'm not going to trade. I still think there will be opportunity for us, but just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If you can come into the market every day with the expectation that you're not going to take a trade, I really believe that's going to change the way you view trading overall, because everybody will come into the market with the expectation that they're going to take trades, and that just puts into your mind that you need to take a trade either way, which then, if the market has terrible conditions, you're still going to take a trade, and the probability is going to be a lot lower of you winning. You got to change that mindset to every day you come to the market, you're excited to trade, right? You're looking forward to it because, right, we're all excited. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't excited to trade. But you have to come in saying, okay, I'm expecting today to not really take a trade. I'm expecting today to not really take a trade. And then once the market shows you something really good, you're like, oh, okay, well, I have to take this setup. This is too good for me. This is too good of a setup not to take. Yeah, I know. The 5 minute candle, 5 minute literally staying within right now. Just staying within. Not doing too much right now. Not doing too much. All right, so help me lose some money. I'm well above my daily limit. Not the worst problem to have. Not the worst problem to have. Oh, man. Yeah, whatever you think you should do, just do the opposite. Unless that's how you've been winning. That's awesome, Bash. That's what it's all about right there, man. That's what it's all about. Man, the little progress that we can make every day. Man, I feel like I would feel weird trying to tell you how to lose a trade. All right, so we're still chilling in this opening range right now. We have a minute and a half until we close on the hourly candle. So again, on the hourly, we can see we're bouncing off a 1 hour bearish for value gap and a 1 hour bullish for value gap. So we're just caught in between these levels right now. We're caught in between these levels. I did want to touch on one thing. It doesn't have to do with trading, but for those of you that obviously, I'm sure pretty much everybody saw what happened over the weekend with the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I think it's no matter what side of the spectrum you're on political, and I never get political here. I don't think we should put politics into trading. But I will say it's a big bummer to see something like that happen. And that does directly play an effect into a lot of our lives for us that are in the U.S. So just praying for this country, praying for the U.S. that we're, that this violence goes away. And I know there's a lot of violence going on, around the world. But man, I would never wish that on anybody, no matter who you support in politics. Would never wish that on anybody. So again, just praying for this country. A lot of stuff going on in the U.S. right now. I know it's not just the U.S. around the world. But man, just pretty crazy to see that. It's insane. I don't invest heavily into crypto right now. I just have a little bit. It's definitely something that I have been more interested in as of recent. I was never super into crypto, and that's just kind of because I never really did any research into it, and I didn't really know too much about it. But it is something in the future that I'm going to look into more of, and we might try to implement it a little bit more into this community. Again, I'm not gonna, I would still need to put a lot more research into crypto as a whole before, bringing that into the community if that's what we're gonna do. So we'll see about that. I know a lot of people do like to trade crypto. Just something that I've never day traded crypto before. Never day traded crypto, but I have held on to positions actually trading them. But yeah, definitely something I want to look into more because I know a lot of people really like trading it. I know they like trading Bitcoin and other currencies, other futures. So the way I look at it, guys, the way I look at trading in general, I just like to keep it simple. And so many people will make it not simple and they'll try to trade too many different things at once. But getting to the point where you can comfortably trade one index, right, and you're very confident in that, I would say, yeah, it's okay to go look into other stuff if you like trading it. The one thing the only other stuff I like to trade is more long-term stuff because I know I'm not going to fix it if it's not broken. I have that mentality when it comes to trading NQ. Why fix it if it's not broken? But in terms of long-term investing and that kind of stuff, I definitely, invest into other stuff. Yeah, we are stuck in this range right now. Can't really seem to break out of it. But that's like the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing I've seen people, myself, what I used to struggle with and what I've seen other people struggle with is just trying to trade too many different things and trying to focus on too many different things at once to where it gets so overwhelming and you can't dial in your focus onto one index. There's opportunity to make money on NQ. There's opportunity to make money on ES. And yes, there's opportunity to make money on other indices as well. But the way I look at it is focus on one and master one index, master the way it moves, master the patterns or whatever you're looking at, and just look at other indices as confluence like we do with ES and YM and the VIX. Don't overcomplicate trading. That's when most people fail, is when they overcomplicate it. All right, Christian, take it easy. Good job today. All right, so we're going back up to the top of the range here. We closed on the hour. We're now in silver bullet hour. This hourly candle is opening up bullish. Let's see if we're going to trade back above that opening range. We might get some SMT divergence here at the highs. Let's see if NQ wants to sweep that high and come back down. If ES fails to do that, we could see a divergence. We could see NQ start to drop in price. All right, so we have SMT. We can see NQ swept that high. ES still hasn't swept the high. It's all the way down here in that fair value gap. We've taken buy-side liquidity. If we're going to go with the theme of today so far, we would expect price to drop back down here, as we're seeing right now. Right? If we're going to do exactly what we've been doing all day to this point, we would expect NQ to drop right back down, back to the lows. We see SMT divergence. That's what we'd expect. It could be the silver bullet move, which is why I'm still cautious about jumping into anything, right? Because we did come down and grab sell side, and now we've been kind of pumping, right? Which is why you're not going to see me just jump into the shorts. I'm still waiting. Because, look, if we do displace the highs and we do see ES start pumping, then we're probably going to see NQ go for yesterday's high. But if we're going to do exactly what we've done all day, then I would expect us to sweep this high and trade right back down. Again, this could be turtle soup, right, where we came down and we swept some internal liquidity, and we could be targeting external during silver bullet hour. But we are in seek and destroy conditions right now, We're in seek and destroy conditions. We have SMT at the highs, which is what would keep me from wanting to jump in the longs here. Technically, I still don't see any setups that I like right now. I technically don't see any setups that I like. We're back into that 1 minute bearish fair value gap up here. And we're seeing a reaction off of it. We have SMT divergence. And guys, if you don't know what SMT is, this is what I mean. We can see ES over here. We have the same exact high. And look how ES is trading down here. And look how NQ is trading up here. So when we see that SMT divergence, typically we're looking for price to come back down on NQ because we see NQ sweeping liquidity. ES is being the weaker index here. Wants to come down and target these lows. But I would still need to see a little bit more confirmation here for me to jump into the shorts. We can look at let's say we just wanted to jump into the shorts right now because we saw liquidity sweep and we only used SMT divergence and that liquidity sweep as our confirmation. Where is our stop loss going to be? Well, that's 55 ticks there. That puts us at, we can't even have our stop above the high. So I don't really like that. Right, we don't even have a recent fair value gap that is formed that we are trading into. So I'm just not looking to short this just yet. They fake out to 685. Let's see. We could see us do that up into that 5 minute. Bullish 5 minute fair value gap. So we are forming one right now, possibly. We could be forming one here. Right, but we still haven't displaced that opening range candle yet. We still have not displaced this. So we really just got to be patient here. I'm good with just waiting. I'm good with waiting for us to displace the highs, displace the opening range, and if we do that and we get some pullback, we definitely could see us long during silver bullet. At least up to previous day high. Okay, so we're moving up. Let's see if we want to get that displacement here on the 5 minute. Looks like we're going to here. Looks like we're going to get 5 minute displacement. ES might be getting rid of that SMT here. Let's see. That would give me a lot of confidence in these longs. The VIX is heading down. Failing to displace still. Let's see. Can we close above? Can we close above at least on the 5 minute? About to close here in 2 seconds. And we did displace on the 5 minute. And now we have this. We have a 5 minute imbalance below. We do have a 5 minute imbalance below. But we still have SMT divergence. So just a lot of conflicting levels here right now, guys, which we will normally see in ranging markets. Okay, so we have this 5 minute imbalance below. We still haven't created a 1 minute fair value gap here for us to trade into. Exactly. Patience is very key today. Very key. I'm telling you guys, that's the one thing that changed the way I traded was patience. That's it. That was the main thing that changed the way I traded. Old me would have been forcing trades like crazy into this market right now. Remember how I talked about earlier? I would have been creating trades that weren't there, trying to take trade after trade after trade, just because the market opened, because I was excited to trade, because I let my emotions take control. Then once I started realizing that was not the way I was gonna make money. The way I was gonna make money is by just waiting for my setups, and then only taking those ones. Okay, so still no 1 minute fair value gaps created. We do have this 5 minute that I like that 5 minute. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We can pretty much predict that we're going to have bad price action, right? All we got to do is look at forexfactory.com and look at the news. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I think everybody's been there before. You've been waiting all weekend to take a trade, and you're like, no matter what the market looks like, I'm taking a trade on Monday. And yeah, it's just not a good it's not a good way to step, into the week. So again, silver bullet hour, I'm just waiting for some fair value gaps to be created. I want to see us start to trade up. See if we get 15-minute displacement of the highs. We would create technically a bullish breaker here. A little bit of a bullish breaker. The low, high, lower, low. Displacement of the highs. Apex warning above. Apex trade evade accounts are having issues, which are separate. Man, good old Apex. So this 15-minute candle is about to close here. We're gonna displace this high, so we are creating a bearish or a bullish breaker here, and we are closing above this. We'll see this 15-minute imbalance. So we might close above this 15-minute imbalance and inverse it. See if we do that. We close here in about 15 seconds. I would like to see us close above. Okay, looks like we're going to. All right, so we closed above. I'm just going to get rid of that. We've created a bullish breaker on the 15-minute, highest up close candle here. Let's see if we want to trade back into that. See if we want to create any 1 minute for value gaps for us to even look for entries off of. So far, we have not done that. We've created one 5 minute down here. We have not traded back into it. And then we have the 15-minute here. So again, just waiting for us to trade into a level that we can actually be, comfortable getting in a position on. If we trade back into this 5 minute, I would like that. I'd like that entry into the 15-minute bullish breaker. I think that could be a solid entry for us. And we'd be looking for a decent amount of reward here if we could catch the breakout. I don't know if we're going to see that breakout today because we are ranging. So we might have to look to kind of scalp if we're going to take a trade. Still no 1 or 2 minute fair value gaps created right now. We're still very choppy here. So as I was saying earlier, if you've just joined up, if we don't see our A plus setup and we're going to continue to have choppy price action, then we will stay out and we'll preserve our capital for a better time to trade. There's no reason to be forcing trades right now. And you blow an account or you lose a bunch of your money that you could have just held on to and waited to risk when there was higher probability conditions. Right now, this is lower probability condition. Chop and range is going to be a lower probability condition to trade in. When we see breakout moves and we see real market structure, that's going to be our high probability days that are going to offer great risk to reward. Those are the days we want to be going in. Those are the days we want to trade. So I do want to see some better price action here. I would like to see us trade back into this 5-minute imbalance, into that 15-minute bullish breaker, and see a little bit of a bounce from that level and see us continue to the upside. We still have SMT at the highs. Yeah, we definitely could. We definitely could see that happen. Another reason why we'd want to scalp, right? Just getting out of our positions, or at least taking profit when it's there and not holding on to these positions for too long. A day like today is not the kind of day I'm going to hold on to too many runners. Or sometimes I might not even hold on to a runner at all. Just because we're not expecting too much expansion. When we see expansion days where we're like on Friday or on previous days where we see a lot of points being hit, those are the days I want to hold on to a runner and just see how far it will go. Like I did on Friday, right? I ended up getting stopped in profit on that one with my runner, but the potential of how much reward we could have had, which eventually did end up getting hit later in the day. Right, that's why I like to hold on to a runner on those types of days. Today, not really one of those days. Okay, so we're trading back down. We're almost into that 5-minute imbalance, 15-minute breaker. The one thing I really don't like is that we still have SMT divergence at the highs. We still have this SMT. I really wanted to see ES go take out that high. We still haven't traded into that imbalance. We still have not created a 1-minute fair value gap. So to me, there's still no confirmation on taking any entries right now. There's no confirmation to take any entries. Sounds good. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Isn't it funny how I bet a lot of people can relate to this? I'm sure pretty much everybody can relate to this. How we used to really look forward to weekends. Weekends were the days. Those were the best days. And now, when you become a trader, you start looking forward to Mondays. You're like, man, I want this weekend to be over. I want to trade again. It's funny how that works, and it just makes it better because you can still enjoy your weekend, but then you have something, you're looking forward to it. There's not a lot of things you can do that you really look forward to waking up early on a Monday to do. Um, 665 as well for me. So it seems like Apex is having some issues. Yeah, I mean, I really want to see. Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, Tradeovate is being weird. That's weird. Yeah, my Tradeovate's acting up as well. Okay, it's looking better now. Yeah, my Tradeovate's back. Well, again, we're not missing out on anything right now, so if they're going to have an issue, this is the time for them to have an issue. It's better than having an issue when we really have a nice trade setup. Yeah, maybe. All right, so still chilling here. I mean, I really wanted to see if these longs step in and go for previous day high. Might have to do a lot of waiting for that. And we also could see that definitely. We could see us come up and sweep the highs and come right back down and just range back to the bottom. So I will normally, what I'll wait to do is I don't like to trade a reversal during silver bullet hour because we've already swept sell side. And I want to see a continuation up. But if we see us sweep highs again and then get another reversal pattern, then I'll look to short the range back down, and then I'll look to long the range back up and so forth. But I need to see some extra confirmation for anything right now. We are just moving so slow, very choppy. Really, to me, it's not worth putting any risk into the market right now, guys. No, it is just not worth it. You might think differently, but that's the way I feel. I don't think it's worth it. Not until we see something better. Yeah, and that's something you could do. Again, if you wanted to trade an eval, or even if you normally trade evals and you're trying to pass evals, then you could go to a demo account if you want. You know, just try to de-risk. Again, with these conditions, I just don't think it's the best idea to put a lot of risk into the market, put any risk into the market until we see something way better. Yeah, I just saw that. Who knows if that'll actually pass? It's a bipartisan bill. No, I just don't know if they would actually vote against that or vote for that against themselves. I mean, I'm all for it. I think it's a little bit corrupt. Yeah, we're in conflicting levels right now. All right, we're still in this hourly resistance, right? This level that's holding us down, technically a breaker, right? 4-hour bearish breaker, but we're creating what seems like bullish levels. We created a 15-minute bullish breaker. Just a lot of fighting between these levels and still not creating any fair value gaps. This is just showing that our market is pretty weak right now. Low volume. we still have like an hour and a half until Mr. Jerome Powell speaks. So we still got a little bit of time. We might not really see much happen until that happens. So right now, this is when smart money is taking all of dumb money's money. This is exactly the time that's happening. They are stealing all of dumb money's cash. They're taking all of they're just basically using dumb money as liquidity, right? We're accumulating, we're consolidating. So people are thinking, all these retail traders that are trading this stuff, they're getting stopped out, and big money is accumulating all of their orders to eventually push it for a real move. Right? That's the way you gotta look at the market. Even if you don't believe, like, even if you think that's all an algorithm, it's the same exact concept. It doesn't really matter. It's the same concept. They're just waiting. All the retail traders are taking trades, losing their money. These big firms are eating up all your money. They're taking it all, and then they're going to make a bunch of money off of the actual move. So what we want to do is we want to trade like the actual firms. We want to trade like smart money. We don't want to get caught up in this stuff. We want to wait for the real move. That's the whole idea. If you can't beat them, you join them, right? Isn't that what they say? If you can't beat them, you join them. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's news coming out, but it's not really. It won't really affect us. It won't affect us. I think we'll be all right. I would like to see some news affect us right now so that we could get this market to move, but that's just not happening. Not the case. Man, so sit back, sip on that coffee, whatever you got to do to just not force any trades into this market. And like we're talking about, if you want to trade still to practice, just go on a sim account. Just go on a sim account. If you're used to trading live cash and you've got the capital, then maybe you could trade an eval account, right? It's ultimately up to you what you want to do. Personally, you don't see me risking any money right now, so my weekend was really good. I spent the day Saturday up in Newport Beach, up in Orange County, with some friends. That was cool. That was a good time. We were out on the town and my friend told me, he was like, "Hey, like Donald Trump just got shot," and I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, bro. You're just messing with me. I was like, I'm not looking. It's gonna be one of those like fake videos where people try to get you. And then I actually looked it up. I was like, oh my God, like that's insane to be living through this moment in history. It's going to go down in history forever. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, yeah, did that, and then did some golfing yesterday with my brothers. That was cool. All right, we're seeing us break out a little bit here. Now we're no more SMT up here. ES is taking out the high. All right, we're at the 50% of that 4-hour bearish breaker. All right, so now we're seeing us actually start to move a little bit. Still not too much. We've got a 5-minute order block here, bullish order block. Five-minute plus OB right here. Yeah, I agree. It's sad. It really is sad. There's no room. There's no room for that. There's no room for that. All right, so we are starting to pump. We're starting to make that move up. We still, I mean, again, still not a trade I would have taken at all, guys. We still have not traded into any fair value gaps. We didn't trade back into the breaker. We didn't trade into the 5-minute. We just, there's still no levels out. Even this 5-minute order block, I still wouldn't have wanted to take a trade off of that. So now we've created a 1-minute fair value gap. Let's see what we do if we trade into it. We got a 1-minute busy here. See what happens here. Let's see. Do we trade into it and bounce? Do we trade right through it and come right back down after sweeping buy-side liquidity? Yeah, I mean, we could definitely see ES bouncing off 5,700. So let's see, we're trading into that 1 minute. Let's see if we're going to bounce off of it or if we're going to trade right through it. Start to head back down for the lows. Still trading inside of it right now. Still respecting that 1 minute. Okay, so we still closed inside of it so far. And we are bouncing off of it. We're bouncing off of it. Still don't really like getting an entry here. Right, but this is the first time I've seen us create a 1 minute fair value gap, trade into it, and reject off of it. So we are in silver bullet. Again, we're almost at yesterday's high. We're getting there. We're getting pretty close to it. Let's see if we can push up. I still don't really like taking that entry right now. Just because of these conditions we've had. It's just a 1 minute fair value gap. We didn't trade and rebalance this range at all. So I still don't love that entry, but it is the first one so far that we've traded into and actually reacted off of. And we could see a continuation of the upside from. But either way, guys, I still don't love that entry. No, I am not in. I am not in. I did not get an entry here. What I was saying is this is the first time we have created a 1 minute fair value gap here on this whole area and actually traded into it and bounced off of. So I'm not in here. Just tape reading right now, just looking to see is price going to continue to respect that level, continue to go up for the highs. I mean, ES is close to all-time highs here. Now we're seeing us kind of chop a little bit. So I'm still fine with just waiting here. Again, right now the longs are what, the longs look like they're going to step in. So far, this is the only entry I would have looked to take at all. I still don't really like that entry. But this 1 minute fair value gap entry is the only one so far that I would have even thought about. I did think about it, but I still didn't really like it. Still didn't really like that entry. It's looking pretty good right now. All right, looks like these longs do want to head up for previous day high. One minute bullish order block created here. Bullish order block here. 1 minute fair value gap down below. Let's Let's see how much reward is still from this 1 minute order block. You know, there's not a ton up to yesterday's high. That's still about 150 ticks from this order block, so it's still decent. Still decent here. I still don't like getting an entry at the top of a range. I'd rather wait for us to retrace a little bit, but again, it looks like we're not really stopping, so these longs could keep stepping in. Like I said, 1 minute order block, 1 minute fair value gap. Those are two entries you could have taken. I didn't personally take them because I'm still not ready to risk any money yet. But those are two entries definitely could have, you know, looked to take. That's why I pointed both of them out. But just letting you know, I personally did not get in either of them. Still looks pretty good, though. Still looks pretty good. We're moving slow. Well, I'm waiting for a little bit more. It's one thing. It's one of two things. It's either we trade back down, we bounce again, get a long entry to yesterday's high, or we drop down, we get a reversal move, and then we catch the shorts back down to the bottom of the range. And we are approaching yesterday's high. We're approaching all-time highs on ES. We definitely could see us drop from this level. Getting close to all-time highs. We could see a drop before we end up going back. But right now, not a lot has been stopping us here. We've slowly been moving up. Slowly been moving up. Using our support. Just really wanted to see us trade into that 5-minute or the 15-minute breaker. That's all I was looking for. We just didn't do that, and you know that happens. Sometimes we're just not going to do it, and we're going to miss out on a trade. And again, I still didn't love to getting in a trade down here anyways. So we still got plenty of time today. We still got another 4 days after that. To me, there's no need to rush here. See what the VIX is up to right now. The VIX is heading back up a little bit. So again, if we get a break of structure to the downside, we start to get a reversal pattern. That's when I would start looking to short the range back to the bottom. But if we trade down and we bounce again off of, you know, this 1 minute fair value gap, right, then I would still be looking long. We're creating a 5-minute bullish fair value gap here as well. Let's look at this 5-minute here. Create a 5-minute bullish fair value gap here, a 5-minute here. So we still have a lot of levels, a lot of imbalances and stuff down below. So let's see what kind of reaction we get if we trade into this 5-minute bullish fair value gap. Okay, we're still reacting off that 1-minute OB here. 1-minute OB is still holding strong. But again, guys, still no entries today. No entries yet. So we're still holding this bullish trend. We're still making higher highs, higher lows. Again, we don't want to fight the trend. Still looking long up to previous day high until I'm proven otherwise, until we see a reversal pattern come in. Still looking long until we see that reversal pattern. The 15 minutes still looks very bullish. So that's what I'm waiting for here. I would like to know how many people today have already taken trades. If you're okay with letting me know. So, okay, we got a few people saying no, a few people saying yes. Okay. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a mix. It seems like most people that have taken trades have been green. Again, as long as you have a solid plan, I'm not saying that you can't trade, right? Like, you shouldn't. I'm saying that I personally don't like to trade these conditions right now. But if you have a solid plan and you see some confirmations, awesome. Then that is completely fine. But if you are just trading to take a trade and you're just trying to make money because you want to make money instead of focusing on the discipline and focusing on the process and waiting for a real setup, that's when it becomes an issue. That's when you build those terrible habits that are really hard to break. So that's why I bring that up. But again, if you have that plan and you saw your setup and you took it, great. That's perfect. But that has to be the case. If you're going to be taking trades during these conditions, in any conditions, you should 100% be able to tell me exactly why you took that trade, what you saw, what were your confluences, and, then if you can defend it, perfect. Okay, so blew the 250K after getting a payout approved. So what made you... Do you think it was greed that made you want to keep trading? Was it... as long as we can get to the root of that problem or of what happened. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it makes sense, right? That's a hard one to overcome. But yeah, as long as you can learn from that, you can journal it, you can figure out why it might have happened. Then you can always improve on it and get the next one, right? And move on to the next and forget the past after you've figured out what the issue was. Nice, Enrique. It's a solid trade. Yeah, the longs really pumped last night. All right, so we're still kind of chopping here. So we just closed on the 15-minute. Strong displacement again of these highs, of this high as well, of that order block. So everything to me still says long. It's what we talked about this morning. We wanted to see longs this morning, but we just, I haven't seen the setups to take us there yet that I've really liked. So we're still chopping. We bounced off that 1 minute order block a little bit. Haven't really moved too much off of it. Yeah, I mean, we've still got all of this, all of these levels over here that could be holding us down. All of these levels. 1 hour, 4 hour, 30 minute, right? A lot of them. But seeing ES so close to all-time highs makes me want to see NQ really start to move up. But I just don't know if today's going to be that day. I don't think today is going to be that day on NQ where it's really going to move unless, Powell says something that makes, the market really want to pump and gives it a lot of volume. All right. Back into that 1 minute order block. A lot of chop right now. A lot of chop. So even if we did take that, let's say we did take that 1 minute entry. Okay, we could have taken TP. And yes, we could have caught maybe around 100, maybe less, 98, 90 ticks. Yeah, we could have definitely won a trade there. But there was no follow through. Right, not really much happened after that. Because we are near the top, we are chopping. ES is getting near all-time highs, which a lot of the time when we see us do that on ES or NQ, we kind of, right, it is that psych level where we start to kind of head back down around that level because everybody is targeting, right? They're targeting that level. So they want to do a little bit of a fake out and take us back down before going back. So, I mean, if we have to wait and, we might have to honestly wait until after Powell speaks, which is still over an hour away, right? Might have to take a little break. And then, I'd come back onto the charts around that time. We might have to wait for that time to see a good trade setup. And what I don't want people to do is to try to trade the chop and, hit their daily loss limit before a real setup happens. Because that's just the worst. That's the worst, right? When you're like waiting for a real setup, you get too eager, you get too antsy, you want to just trade. You hit your daily loss limit, and then you see that setup that you were waiting for all day actually happen, and now you can't get involved. So really just waiting for us to stop chopping here. Maybe create a power of 3 setup with this accumulation, get a little manipulation. Maybe we manipulate down. We trade into the 5 minute fair value gap down here. Maybe even to the 5 minute OB. And then we get a continuation up. Something along those lines. Does anybody drink just straight black coffee? I've been drinking black coffee the past few days because I've just been I just haven't wanted to go to the store to get any coffee creamer. Nice. Okay, we got a lot of people. I like black coffee as long as it's iced. I like it if it's iced. I used to do a lot of fasting, and that was kind of the best for fasting was drinking black coffee. Okay, so we just displaced again. All right, so we're moving up again. Still waiting for an entry. No, yeah, the black hot coffee, I can't really do that too much. Yeah, I can't drink too much coffee. After like 2 cups, I just start getting all jittery. I'm like, I gotta stop. I just have 1 cup. One time I went to this cafe for breakfast, and then the waitress just kept pouring me more coffee and more coffee. I had like 6 cups. I felt awful. Okay, so here's the issue with longing from here. So we got 79 ticks of reward. Let's see what our risk would be. I mean, we could have a 35 tick stop if we wanted near the bottom, and have a 1 to 2 still. But again, we're near the top. Let's see if we get a reaction off this 1 minute fair value gap here. We're near the end of silver bullet. Looks like we're getting a reaction off that 1 minute. Okay, we're really bouncing off that level. We are bouncing off that level, which is a good sign. I don't really like jumping into the longs up at this point too much. I do think we're going to be able to find a better setup. I think we'll be able to find a better setup than this. Well, let's see. Let's see if we get another reaction off that level again. I want to pull back on the 5 and the 15 minutes so far. We're still respecting that 1 minute imbalance, which I like. As long as I at least have a 1 to 2 risk to reward, I'm okay with it. But I still don't love longing from here. So far, we are respecting that imbalance, and we are bouncing off of it. So I might think about trying it out here. Still kind of struggling. We're still struggling at this point. Interesting. I've never had Buc-ee's coffee. No, last week I ended in the red. So in the past, I think it was 11 or 12 weeks, 11 weeks, I've had 2 red weeks, 2 break even, and the rest green. So that was one of my red weeks was last week, but we still were able to, make a little bit back on Friday, which was nice. So, again, it looks like we're trying to pump off of this level. I just still don't love jumping into an entry when we're already at the top. That's the one thing I don't like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're almost at that previous day high here. We're almost there. And again, we could have tried to take that 1 minute fair value gap entry, but we've had a lot working against us. We've been doing a lot of chopping, so I still don't really like taking that entry. Even if it does go take out previous day high, I'm not going to be upset about not taking that entry because we're already all the way at the top, so I still don't love taking that entry, guys. I really don't love taking that entry. To me, still not the highest probability setup there. And you can sit there all day and you can say, I should have taken this entry, I should have taken that entry. Okay, true. Like, you can look back and you can do it for learning purposes. But if you sit there and you keep saying, I should have taken that entry, I would have made this much money, I should have taken this one, I would have made that much money, it's not really a good mindset to have. I look at every entry as, okay, I didn't take it because of these reasons, and I'm okay with that. Right? And if I just took it because I wanted to make some money, that's not a good enough reason. So we still haven't taken any of the entries yet. Still haven't taken any long entries. I was thinking about taking the 1 minute here, 1 minute fair value gap entry. Didn't want to take it yet. But yes, we did. We are about to close above this 1 hour order block here. So we are looking extremely bullish still. And we're almost at yesterday high. And that's the one reason I really didn't love this entry, is because we're only looking at about 80 ticks to the yesterday's high, which is still good reward. But really just didn't really want to get that entry. But again, right, the trend is your friend. So the longs are there until the trend is broken. All right, ES is almost at all-time highs. ES is almost at all-time highs here. NQ is almost at previous day high. So that means we're going to see a big divergence up here, right? Big divergence up here. Even with ES taking previous day high, if we do, that's all-time highs up there. Big divergence. We could see a drop from that level. Let's see if ES wants to take it out here. It's very close. Yeah, I mean, that 5 minute fair value gap, 15-minute breaker entry down here, this is where I wanted to enter. We didn't tap into it, so I just didn't get that entry. That would have been the entry I would have really looked to take on this move, but never tapped into it, so didn't take it. All right, I am not worried. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for us throughout this week. Plenty of opportunities, and even for there's still going to be, I still think we might see a few more opportunities throughout the day. Okay, so close below this 1 minute fair value gap. See if we trade back down into this one. We're in a 2 minute bullish fair value gap here. Both of NQ and ES got very close. ES almost got to all-time high, yesterday's high. NQ almost got to yesterday's high. Very close. I think we're going to take it out here. There's some volume. Wow, now volume wants to step in. All right, so we've taken it now. Let's see if we're going to get a reversal here. See if we're going to get a reversal. The hourly candle just closed. Now we've taken out yesterday's high. See if we're going to get a continuation to the upside, or if we're going to start to see some kind of reversal here. All right, so we've just taken buy-side liquidity. We've just taken some buy-side liquidity. We're getting closer to London close, which then what we want to do is we'd want to look at, use our Fibonacci from, if we form a swing high up here. Again, I'm not trying to short this right now. I'm still looking long until I see a reversal pattern come in. Let's say this is our swing high. We'd be looking at price to come back down to a discount around 8:30 Pacific. But right now we're still looking very bullish. We are still looking very bullish right now, even after sweeping external liquidity. One minute fair value gap, 1 minute order block down below. Let's see if price wants to trade back into that, if we're going to bounce again off this area, or if we're going to try to push right through it. I see Bash that you were in the longs. Anybody else end up trading any of these longs from any of the levels I talked about? Or has everybody pretty much stayed out? Closed at break even. That's all right. So you just didn't want to take profit? Or did it just come back too quick on you? Okay. All right. So you still got some profit then. All right. So there's been a few levels I've talked about. I just personally wasn't really willing to get an entry at those levels. But they have worked out. Right. We have seen these longs continue. Silver Bolt longs did happen. Just had a lot of chop until that point. Okay, so this is what I mean. When we take out external liquidity like this high, yesterday's high, typically we'd expect us to get some strong pullback after that. Right now our trend is very strong to the upside. We'd have to see a lot of confirmation if we're going to get that London close reversal. Which a day like today is one of those days you would expect the London close reversal. Because it is a Monday. But I'm still looking long until we see a market structure shift. So volumes died down again. And the VIX is bullish right now. The VIX is bullish. So either way, I'd still be waiting for us to trade back into a fair value gap or something if I wanted to keep longing this, and we'd have to look at what that next liquidity level is. So we're still in the 1 hour. We're still in the 4-hour bearish breaker, but we're near the top of it. Our next external liquidity is not until all-time highs, which is previous week high. So now we got to look at internal liquidity all the way on the left of our charts, and we can just look at the 1 minute. Our internal liquidity we do not have until up here. And then up here. And up here. This is all that our internal buy side liquidity up top. So we've still got a long ways until those internal liquidity levels. So again, still waiting for us to trade back into a 1 minute fair value gap or some kind of level or get some kind of retracement, back into a discount of a range. We have not done that right now. So that's what I'm waiting for here. So definitely, I didn't expect this much. I mean, we did talk about taking previous day high earlier, but that was only if we were going to see some real volume step in. I, expected a lot of range leading up to Powell speaking, and we did see an actual breakout. But it was a slow one. It was a pretty slow move. Yes, we will have our prop firm session today. 10:45 Pacific. So let's look at our weekly chart real quick, and we can see the divergence that we have. Now, there's a lot of lines here. Don't pay attention to all these lines. Just pay attention to the weekly high, all-time highs. ES is taking out our all-time high. NQ is still far away from it. That means we have a strong weekly SMT divergence. Strong SMT divergence. Typically, when we see that on a weekly time frame, we do see a reversal. A lot of the time. You're in 4 time zones. What is IST and SST? So, I mean, I would like to see the shorts come in from here after sweeping buy side, getting closer to our London close reversal time. Indian Standard Time, got it. Ah, I see. So we've swept external liquidity. We have SMT divergence at our all-time highs. We're still in a 4-hour bearish breaker. We're still in a lot of higher time frame imbalances to the downside. I would like to see us get that retracement move back down to a discount of the range. But again, I'm still thinking long until we see a market structure shift. But we still don't really have any entries here. Even if we wanted to go long, I still don't see any entries that I want to take. Got a 5-minute imbalance down here. So, I mean, we just continue pumping. $27.71. Let's look at that level. $27.71. Just at the top of that 4-hour breaker. I mean, we just continue to move up. I mean, look at all these levels. So, I mean, we're still holding that trend. We're still really holding that trend. So these longs are really stepping in, still not stopping. Doesn't mean I'm just going to chase the longs because I want to just jump into an entry. We just need to see us pull back into a good level. I mean, our next liquidity, guys, is not for a long time. We've got a lot of imbalances. A lot of smaller time frame imbalances over here. 15-minute imbalance here. So a lot of things that can hold us down. But if we're going to keep going, then we have to target our next liquidity, which from this fair value gap down here is still 458 ticks away. So it's still pretty far away. So we're just not really coming back for anything right now. So to me, I mean, still, no trade is still a win for me. Obviously, there's a few trades here and there that I would have liked to have taken, but I didn't want to take them at the time, so I didn't take them. $28.23. So we've still got a little bit to go. Little bit to go. So we're not coming back for anything. We're not getting any retracement back into a level that I can long off of. So I'll keep waiting here until I see something I really want to take. Okay, so 28.23. A lot of resistance up at that level then. So what I'd be waiting for, let's say we wanted to try and catch the shorts back down. Let's say we got that reversal. I would be waiting for us to sweep these lows right here. If we can sweep those lows, get that break of structure, then we'd be trying to catch it down to a discount all the way down to here. But as long as these longs are pumping, we're still looking long. Man, we're really not stopping here. So I mean, so far today, we've had pretty solid analysis, solid trade ideas, right? And I've just been kind of tape reading the market. Still no entries for me. I know a lot of you have gotten some entries, but I'm okay with it. Like, oh well, if you know these longs pumped, yes, we had the right ideas, but again, came into this market thinking, you know, with the idea of arranging market, so I wasn't ready to really jump in any trades. So I'm just marking out all these 1 minute, 2 minute imbalances that we see, just to see if we're going to trade back into any of them. Give us some kind of opportunity. Can we trade back into the 1 minute, into this 2 minute here? That's what I'm waiting for. Everything still tells me bullish right now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would not be looking to short this at all until I see a break of structure. So we don't trade back into it. We just keep going. We just keep going. See, now we're creating a 1 minute bullish order block. We're going to see a lot of these rectangles left behind on my charts. A lot of them. So let's see if we create this 1 minute bullish order block. If we trade back into it, just some kind of level for me to be able to get in off of. Just waiting for some pullback. Let's see, can we trade into that 1 minute bullish order block now? Okay, we're almost into it. Let's see if we can trade into it here. Get a bounce, get an entry off that 1 minute bullish order block, and just keep riding the trend. We are hitting that. We just hit that 8-4 level. We're just not going back into any of our levels that I would long off of. And I don't care, guys. I'm not going to chase price. I will not chase price. I will make sure I have the right entry. No, definitely not looking to short. That's for sure. I'm really just looking for one solid pullback move into a good level to long off of. That's it. That's what I was wondering. I was like, you guys are definitely agreeing with each other here. It's like you guys are saying the same thing. All right, can we get some pullback? Has anybody been riding this long at all? Or is everybody kind of waiting for a pullback like me? Well, hey, we just got to move on. Just got to move on. Yeah, well, that was the level I was talking about down here. I was talking about this turtle soup, and I wanted to start looking for longs. What I didn't like was that we were doing so much chopping and everything. Right, was coming down sweeping the lows, and then I wanted to look for longs. I did talk about that earlier, but I just didn't like our price action and how we were looking at the time. Yeah, no, 100%. Let's see, now we've got a 2-minute fair value gap here. Just got all of these levels that price just doesn't want to trade back into. But I'm not going to force an entry into the longs just for price to come back into one of those levels eventually and stop me. Yeah, a lot of green on the 5-minute. See if we can finally make it into one of our levels here. I've just always, I don't know, I've always liked going off of ticks, honestly. That's just always the way I've talked about it. I've always talked in ticks. But I mean, it's the same thing. 4 ticks to a point. Or handles, exactly. I think Forex, they say pips. Yeah, they use pips in Forex. Which I don't really like that. I don't know, that word just doesn't sit right with me. Plus, I'm not really a fan of Forex myself. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like that word. Ticks, no, that's a word I can get behind. Okay. Trading back down. Can we tap into at least one fair value gap? We've got a 2-minute here. Small 2-minute gap there. Okay, so now we're tapping into a fair value gap, but that's kind of an aggressive move down here. Let's see if we get a bounce. What I really don't want to do is get a long entry on an aggressive or one aggressive move down, because that's when you could see the reversal step in. So, again, we're starting to move down kind of aggressively here. Let's see, we just traded into a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. A lot of a 3-minute, a 2-minute, a 1-minute. Remember, we're looking. So here's the reversal. This is the reversal that's looking like it's starting to step in. It's almost 8:30. All right, so if we break structure here, we might see these shorts step in and try to rebalance this market. So now these are all gone. That was a pretty strong move down. This is why I still have not chased price yet, because this could happen at any moment. So now we got to look at where our 0.5 level is. Our equilibrium is all the way down here. We're right around London reversal. We still are in a lot of, we're still in a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. But again, we are getting a strong break of structure now. Closing below this low is big. Again, I'm still not going to chase these shorts. I still want to see a pullback move. But now that I'm seeing a break of structure, that's starting to give me a little bit more. I'm starting to think a little bit more about the shorts here. Especially time and price, guys. 8:30 a.m. London close reversal. Let's see, do we want to trade up into this bearish fair value gap up here on the 1 minute? Do we start to see that reversal come in? This is the exact time I would want to see it happen. We've broken structure now. Still would wait for an entry, though. I'm not going to force any entries here. Man, we're just dumping now. But still, to me, there's still no entry here yet. Still no entry here yet. Exactly. You cannot have FOMO here. You cannot try to chase price, get FOMO, and then just get stopped out. I don't care if it works out one time or two times. It's not a sustainable way to trade, in my opinion. I mean, this one looks like it's really going to drop here. We can see this is exactly what I talked about. It's that London close reversal. Looks like that's what's starting to happen here. So then we'd be looking to take it all the way down to 26.8950 is that equilibrium of our New York AM range. We're creating a 2-minute fair value gap here. We have a 2-minute up there. Small 1-minute imbalance here. So, I mean, I want to see these shorts come in again or start to step in, but still got to wait for a good entry. Think about all the people that were chasing the longs up here that were getting entries that really they didn't take them off of any confirmation, right? You could keep riding the trend, obviously. But I'm sure a lot of people were trying to get entries all the way up here without waiting for a right entry level and just got stopped out very hard. So we're about to displace 2 5-minute fair value gaps. So we just displaced 2 5-minute fair value gaps on that 1 5-minute candle. And we're just dropping and we're not really giving us any opportunity to get an entry here. So, again, there's nothing I can do about this right now. I'm not going to chase. Until there's an entry opportunity, I will not get in. We just tapped into a 15-minute bullish fair value gap down here. Still want to see these shorts come down into a discount. A lot of fair value gaps left behind again. No retracement moves yet. We still don't have any up close candles here. Small 1-minute fair value gap here. Just above. Just barely taps into that 1 minute there. You are bouncing off a 15-minute bullish fair value gap right now. Okay, I like that bounce off that 1 minute. and the 5-minute inverse. I'm going to test them out here. Well, my trade of 8 isn't working. So I didn't get an entry there. Let's see what's going on here. So no entry there. I wanted to get an entry in the shorts up here. So I don't know if anybody got an entry. Again, I would have looked for an entry right around here. Well, then I guess I won't be taking a trade then. I might still have a TopStep-X account low key. I don't think I traded it like maybe once or twice. I kind of forgot about TopStep-X. So no entry there for me. I would have wanted to see. I really wanted to get an entry there. Off the bounce off that 1 minute and 5-minute inverse. Again. Well, maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best here. We are creating a 5-minute order block. But why would mine? That doesn't make sense. Huh. Weird. Okay, so either way, if you guys are in the shorts, they still look good. Even if you did get an entry a little bit lower, I would have put my stop at about 45 to 50 ticks. $45 to $50. They are coming in now pretty aggressively. I'd be honestly taking them all the way down to a discount here for about 192 ticks. I'd maybe take some TP off around here. I mean, we just hit 98 ticks from there. So I'd maybe take some TP there and then hold down to a discount. Yeah, so I mean, that trade worked out pretty good so far. Pretty good so far. Again, the full TP would be down here at a discount. Maybe even hold on to it a little. Maybe hold on to a runner once we take that, or take a full TP down there. I would definitely take at least a first TP here. At least a first TP already. At least a first TP. And then I would have my stop at break even and look to hold down to a discount. So, I mean, that was a pretty solid entry there. Pretty solid entry. 5-minute inverse for value gap. Look, we got a 15-minute bullish for value gap down here, right around that equilibrium. 1 minute. The 1 minute did technically get disrespected there. But pretty nice entry. Shorts really stepped in. Again, guys, I would be looking full TP down here at 26.8950. I mean, possibly even holding for longer, honestly. At least taking 75% of my position off down here. But I 100% would have taken, first TP already. Now Top Step X is saying I have the wrong password. I'll have to figure that out later. Well, I mean, the trade it's looked pretty good so far. Let's see how many ticks it's caught. 145 ticks. 145 ticks. Pretty solid. It's a pretty nice win there for those of you that were able to catch that. Who here was able to catch this trade? Sweet, okay. All right, we got some people that were able to catch it. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good start to the week. That's a good start to the week right there. I mean, if you think about it, guys, we waited 2 hours. We were patient for 2 hours to catch a setup. And then there it goes, 145 ticks. Pretty nice. Again, I would have my stop at break even here. Would not let a winning trade turn into a losing trade. Would not let a losing trade a winning trade turn into a losing trade, guys. So 15-minute, we're still respecting that 15-minute bullish imbalance here. We almost tapped into the one below. Again, this is that London close reversal I talk about so much, guys. We talk about all the time. Time and price aligned perfectly, but we have not tapped down into a discount yet. I would have wanted to see it come down into a discount and trade into that 15-minute imbalance below. Either way, winning trade there. So, I mean, that's what it's all about, guys. Obviously, there's some trades we could have taken in the longs. There's a few times I said, you know, this is an entry I might want to take, and I just didn't execute the trade. Didn't really want to take it. And then, so I probably would have gotten stopped out of break even here, guys, after taking profit. Either way, winning trade. Either way, we waited about 2 hours for this entry. No trades before that. Boom. 145 ticks for those of you that were able to get an entry. Pretty solid. I'd say that's pretty solid. Pretty solid there. So now it's coming back up. Strong bounce off that 15-minute imbalance. We didn't make it all the way to a discount. Definitely wanted to see us make it down to a discount. We just didn't do that yet. So let's see if NQ wants to tap into that 5-minute bearish fair value gap up here. But yeah, that's really what it's about. So now we have Powell speaking in about 20 minutes. So honestly, I would be waiting. I think what we can do is we can hop off here, wait for Powell to speak. I'll hop back on my charts and see how the market's moving once he's speaking, and try to call out another trade for you guys if we see another trading opportunity. What I wouldn't do is take, trades too close to when he speaks. That's when it gets pretty volatile, when it gets harder to trade. So I'd probably wait until Powell speaks. He speaks in about 19 minutes. We'll hop off for now. And then I'll come right back on my charts. I'm just going to grab a quick bite to eat, come right back to the charts, kind of check it out, see how we're looking going into lunch hour, into Pal's speaking event, and then we'll go from there, if that sounds good to you guys. And shorts are still stepping in right now. Again, the ultimate target for the shorts would be that equilibrium, that discount down here. So just keep that in mind if the shorts are going to continue. I know we're bouncing off a 15-minute bullish imbalance, but if we can displace that one right here, I do think we'll go down to that one. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you very soon. Just keep those notifications on just in case you hear from me. Keep those accounts safe for now. All right. Hopefully all of you, if not most of you, were able to catch that trade there. Pretty solid setup. Good way to start the week. All right. Let's keep the momentum going. We'll keep looking for A+ setups. We'll keep being patient. Keep the discipline. Focus on the process, not the outcome. All right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you very soon. Until then, peace.